Hello, I'm Stuart Bloor, and I said recently that my canal perch fishing was coming to an end as I was going to concentrate on other species. Anyway, you can't have too much of a good thing, can you? And I've decided to come back. That's the great thing about fishing, isn't it? You just please yourself, really. You make your plans, you plot your campaigns, but ultimately it's about doing what you want to do. Anyway, the signs of spring are everywhere now. Colt's foot, one of the early flowers that we see in this country. Lots of colonies of those along the hedgerows, along the canal towpath. And I saw, well, I didn't quite identify it as a goldfish or a koi carp, but it was something along those lines. It was beneath the surface, but I managed to capture it on film. An unusual fish swimming around. Although it must have been about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I actually caught something similar on the Staff's Worcestershire Canal. I think people get them in the ponds, they grow too big, get fed up with the ponds or whatever, and they decide to throw them in the cut. Anyway, it'd be nice if I could catch that, wouldn't it? But my target species is perch. Well, I don't think it's a goldfish, but I'm into a small perch. Not a big fish, but it's certainly fighting. They come alive, don't they, when they realise they're hooked. Anyway, that's in the net, and I'll show it to the camera now. Not a big fish, but beautiful nevertheless. My favourite species, the perch. Well, I'm into another one. It's a little bit bigger than the first, but not massive. Never mind though, they all count. And that one's now in the net. I'm coming to the end of this session now. I want to stay till the end, but I can't until dark, should I say. But I can't, I'll tell you why in a moment. But I've just netted a tiny little perch. The reason that I've got to pack away now, as we hit perch o'clock, is that I'm down Molyneux tonight. Wolves are at home. This will be my last season actually, having a season ticket. I've been down there for many years, and it's not like I want to give it up, but what's happened is that I've got involved in the Welsh Premier League this year with the New Saints, and that has literally gone from strength to strength. First game that the New Saints played, I was in the stands as a fan, and the second one I was on this fledgling radio station, and that has literally progressed to the stage where we're doing that every game now, home and away. I'm also working on social media at the New Saints, and from March, was the beginning of March, the press release went out that I was confirmed as the, or announced as the first club chaplain of the New Saints. That was a great honour. So things have changed very much for me during this football season. So even before Easter came, I was a very happy bunny indeed. So it's not like a bad thing that I'm having to give up my season ticket down the Wolves, but of course clashes, and you can't be in two places at one time. So the New Saints it is for me from now on. It's been a very slow afternoon, and I've just hooked into a big perch. Tiniest of bites. That's all I've been getting. The water is quite clear actually. I haven't had a boat through all day, which is quite surprising at this time of the year. Oh, I want to land this one. The last thing I want is a hook pull. Come on. Maybe not as big as I thought, but yeah, definitely a good fish, and I'll show you that in a moment. Actually, it is quite a nice perch, as you can see. And this is why, and the dorsal's coming up, and this is why, and I've sent a text, and this is why I haven't been able to give up my canal perch fishing just yet. That fish has gone back, as you saw. Brilliant. Really enjoyed netting that one, especially when I saw it in the water. I thought it was a little bit bigger than it was, but nevertheless, as you saw on the video then, still a very good fish. Now, I don't always weigh my fish, and very rarely do I declare the weights. I think with the age of the internet, you see pictures pretty much every day, on the web with people claiming a fish to be a particular weight. It might be a big barbel, a big roach, a big perch, or whatever. And you look at it and you think to yourself, no way in a million years is it even half the declared weight. And I think in many ways it's devalued the the true nature of big fish. And so I tend to shy away a little bit from declaring weights. But I thought I'd show that one because a 2 pound perch from certainly the stretches that I fish on the Worcs Canal is a specimen. 1 pound is a good fish, 2 pound is a specimen. £2.5, well that's a cracker. I think what you have to do is wherever you fish, regardless of the species, you have to pitch your standard according to the venue. You might be fishing a place where, for example, a 10 pound carp is a specimen, a 20 pound carp is a monster. Other places there may just be run-of-the-mill fish. So don't get carried away by weights alone, and certainly don't get looking at the internet and getting taken in by all the stuff you see on there. But follow your own angling, keep your own records, work out what's good for that venue, and set your benchmark appropriately. For the second session on the bounce, I'm about to leave before it gets to perch o'clock. However, as I've said so many times before, I wish I had a pound every time I said it. As long as your bait's in the water, you've got a chance. And I've proved that today, haven't I? I'm back for my final outing of the week. And I've just got my landing net handle underneath the tripod. There it is. And it's a small perch. Not as big as the one I caught yesterday. At least I'm not a blanker. Let me show you my rig. I'm often asked about rigs. As you can imagine, of course, it's an important part of fishing. I'm fishing 6 pound line straight through, and I've got a 1/3 of an ounce lead that you can see there. That's not fixed or anything, of course. And there's a 5mm bead and a small shot. I've got a hook length of about 8 inches on this occasion, and a size 10 hook, and a couple of small worms on at the moment. Very simple, but it's been doing the business, and that's what counts. I had a few little plucks, and then it went quiet. I decided to bring the bait in, and I've got a fish on. Only a small one though. Well, I say only a small one, it is of course, but still very welcome indeed. I'm into the last hour now. It's been very slow today. Having said that, the session has been short. It will be short by the time I complete it, of course. I fish a lot, but I don't necessarily fish for long periods of time. Most of my sessions tend to be quite short, but at the times when the fish are feeding, dawn, dusk, this time of the year, that sort of thing on the canal is just perfect. But as we saw on session 2, one bite, that's all it takes, just one little tap on that rod, and I'm into a very, very good fish. That's what inspires us, isn't it, as anglers? That's what keeps us going, even when the going is really, really tough. That's what keeps us going. The fact that we just one take away from the fish of a lifetime. I'm getting a few plucks here. Looks like it's developing into a bite. It's gone quiet. You need eagle eyes when the fish aren't feeding particularly well. You have to look out for the slightest little tremor on the end of the rod tip, or the float, of course, if that's the way that you fish. Tell you what, I'm just going to lift into this now because it's gone very, very quiet again, and who knows, could be a fish on, or there may not. This time though, I am into a fish. It's not a big one, but as I so often say, and I'll say it many times in the future, they're all very welcome, aren't they? And that one's now in the net. There's a little splash there. You can see how it's hooked there as well, right in the side of the mouth. They're not wolfing the bait down like perch are notorious for. They're not really feeding in the way that I would like them to, but I've had a few. I haven't blanked. That's a good day as far as I'm concerned. It's quite well into dusk now, and I was getting everything broken down. I'd even got the camcorder packed away, and I landed this, just a small perch, but brilliant. Look at that.